What's up, guys? Me and Larson are back doing our conference tournament previews. If you missed yesterday, we covered the ACC, we covered the SEC, we covered the Big East. Check those out. We're already looking good with Boston College. They got a big test tonight with UNC. But
Come on.
today, I got faith. I got faith. I'll let it ride just because I couldn't get UNC money line because the spread was too much.
Yeah.
But let's talk about some AAC. The elephant in the room is Houston. Arguably, actually not arguably. I think they are the favorites to win the national championship right now. But there's some other good quality teams in the AAC. There's a lot of teams that you shouldn't sleep on.
Yeah, Houston are, the mega favorites. I think they're like minus 300.
314.
Not interested in that at all. And this isn't anybody's like favorite conference or anything. I personally have not paid a ton of attention to this conference this year. It's just kind of it's Houston, everybody else. But as I go through the bracket a little bit, there are two that just kind of catch my eye, and that was really about it. Memphis really gives Houston a game. It feels like every time they play, and we just saw over the weekend they had, Houston took a buzzer beater for them
from the logo, which their logo takes up like 3/4 of their court.
Yeah, yeah. It was a logo shot for the buzzer beater, a nice mid range, and they, that Memphis plays them tough every time, and Memphis is like they have the second best odds, and they're +3 or +500, which is just kind of funny to think about. But the last month of the season, because I really like looking at these teams, the last month, how have they done? They're 6-2, but both losses were to Houston, and they played them well both times, really. And in that last month, they've been like a top 20 team. The numbers and the metrics really like Memphis. They say they've been a top 20 team. So their last 4 losses have all been really close. Like they're playing really well. And you take away those losses to Houston, and they're a really good team. And so 500 +500 for the second best odds. If they get to the conference championship, they're probably not going to be +500 on the money line.
At least hedge out. Yeah, exactly.
Right. It's an easy spot there. So I automatically like the value there. Funny enough, the other team is the 7 seed UCF. They play the 10 seed SMU. Shouldn't be a problem. They beat SMU by 32. But UCF, I got them at 40-1. I think they're down to 30-1 right now. They had a lot of injuries over the course of the regular season, and they're getting healthy now at the right time. It's a little bit like baseball playoffs almost. And they went to Houston and challenged Houston the 2 that they played. They were pretty close losses, but they were in the games there. So they hang around. They make a lot of threes, and they don't give up a lot of threes, which is a pretty good recipe. It can be a little hit or miss, but the defense will travel. And then they beat Memphis in double overtime earlier in the season, and then they went to Memphis and lost by 1. All that to say that they are capable when they're healthy, which they are now, of hanging around with these top 2 teams. At 40-1, 30-1, I like the price there. And at least like they're going to beat SMU. SMU is horrible. So you're going to get a Memphis UCF quarterfinal. And if you bet both like I did, then you're into the semis. And I really like the matchup there against probably Tulane or Wichita State, both teams that haven't been very good recently. So those are the 2 quick ones that I think are easy. Like I'm just looking in that conference where Houston dominates, where can I get good value and hedge? And those were the 2 that I found. So I like them.
Yeah, unfortunately, Mick Cronin's no longer at Cincinnati. It's been a long time. They did just recently beat UCF, but only by 2. And then Memphis obviously hit them with that buzzer beater. But they'll probably play Temple round 1. There's probably one of the only teams that you should watch out for. But yeah, I'm not too concerned with Cincinnati. Kind of the same feeling. But now on to one of the most interesting conferences in college basketball this year. They've cannibalized each other. They've all beat each other. It feels like nobody
feels
really
like they do
is
that.
the front runner.
They do this every year. The Big Ten.
Yeah, nobody's really the front runner here. The only team that really feels like they're just completely hopeless is Nebraska. But it's the Big Ten. Obviously, your favorite is going to be Purdue, led by Zach Edey. And spoiler alert, I hate Purdue in March. I think they're going to be a quick out. I don't know if they'll be second round, but I don't have a lot of faith in Purdue. Indiana's kind of a frisky team, but I don't think they're all the way there. And then you have Michigan State with Tom Izzo. And I love Tom Izzo in March, but it's just not a Tom Izzo team. I do like Tyson Walker. They are a good team, but they're not of that caliber. And it really just feels like this is going to be another year where the Big Ten just lets down in March. But who do you like for the tournament at least?
I like 3 here. It's similar to the SEC. I kind of take the 2 that I like and then kind of a long shot Also similar to the SEC, if y'all watched the video from yesterday, talking about the bottom teams not getting a lot of rest because the Big Ten plays their semifinal and their championship pretty early in the day. So 4 out of the last 5 tournaments and 5 out of the last 7 have had winners from the top half, which I think is interesting. But the top half is just a little I don't even know what to say about top half. I don't like it because, I think about Purdue. We're not really sold on Purdue. Like, they're good. They look very beatable. And Zach Edey's 2 quick fouls away in the tournament from Purdue losing the second round.
Exactly.
Michigan State, I was definitely looking at Michigan State too. We'll talk about Bill Self later, but Tom Izzo, he's fine losing. He's fine losing in the Big Ten tournament, resting up and getting ready for the big dance. So, like, does he take this tournament seriously? Not really. I'm sure as hell not betting Iowa. You have no idea what you're getting from that. So it's like, I don't know. I look at 3 teams in the bottom half that I like, and you might be out on Indiana, which I can understand that. I like Indiana. I think that Indiana's playing good basketball.
I'm out on them for the tournament, for the record.
For the tournament, which is fair. I think Indiana, you're going to find, you could ask 10 people about Indiana and you get 10 different opinions. But they have the players to make a run, and just look at the Big Ten tournament here. I mean, they're in the quarterfinals. They're going to get, as a 3 seed, they're going to get probably Maryland is the 6 seed that they're going to play. Maryland's horrible, especially away from home. They ended the season 2-3, and they lost to the 10 seed, 11 seed, and 13 seed, and they're 4-10 away from home this year. Maryland is just a total, just a fade, and so I love Indiana playing Maryland. I expect Indiana to walk into the semifinals. So what were they? Plus 550. I like, it's an easy quadrant, and so I'll take them there. I like them. Not to mention they could reach the Big Ten championship. And what if Purdue loses early, like I think we expect them to do almost, and Indiana's maybe a favorite in the Big Ten championship. I will take Northwestern, the 2 seed. Only
good. Yeah, I wanted to talk about Northwestern. Yeah.
Yeah. It's almost, for me, it's more of a slight hedge against Indiana. But Northwestern plus 850. I mean, they are the 2 seed. They play good basketball. They have guards. They have good guards with Boo Buie and Audige, who I think this is where guards really start to matter as in tournament settings.
Yeah.
They're veterans. They match up really well against Indiana too. They beat Indiana both times during the regular season. They were very close games. It was by a combined 3 points, I think, but they know how to play Indiana. And at plus 850, I just think it's too good for me not to take. So those are the 2 kind of favorites that I like for at least that side.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I'm really interested in Northwestern because they are hot at the right time. They could win the Big Ten tournament. But you look at the bottom of the bracket, they're not a good team this year, but it's one of those things to where you see the brand, you see the logo, and you got to think Michigan at plus 1650 is pretty decent value. And even Rutgers has won some games this year. But this whole conference top to bottom is just, there's nobody here that I see winning a title. And
yeah,
it's kind of hard to pick from them that way because that's what I've been focused on. But I think Michigan and Rutgers could be, if you really want a nice long shot, maybe one of those 2. But
yeah,
I'm not really loving it here.
I almost think too, because it's a wide open tournament, and Purdue, I'm not shocked seeing Purdue go down in the quarterfinals to whoever wins Michigan Rutgers. You could almost just wait for the Michigan Rutgers game and take the winner, maybe on the money line against Purdue, and kind of money line roll it into the championship almost, if you want to do that. Yeah, I think that's not a bad idea at all. Did you have any long shots or anybody like that? I told myself earlier in the year I wanted to bet Ohio State, and I can't do that anymore. So.
Yeah, they had a couple good games to start the year, and they've just been awful. But no, I would say Michigan would probably be my only one.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like Juwan Howard, this type of, I feel like he's kind of a rah-rah type of coach, and these are the situations where you can get a team up and make a run.
Yeah, I wouldn't hate that at all. I was kind of looking around, and I stuck to the bottom half of the bracket with my long shot, and I took Penn State at 25-1. They're the definition. We talk about frisky teams. They're the definition of frisky. They have a lot of things that I like if you look for kind of a long shot team. They are a veteran team. The top 5 guys on their team are all seniors with Pickett and Lundy that can score a lot of points. They don't turn the ball over at all. They're third in the NCAA in turnovers per game. They're really efficient. And they make a lot of threes, which I think is cool. You're obviously one cold game away from losing, but I'll take my chances with them. The other thing is they're the 10 seed. No, they play Illinois, who's the 7th seed. Illinois is a little bit I think going to get a lot of people because it's Illinois. It's a big name, and they've been pretty good the last few years. I think people are drawn to them. But Illinois, if you took Indiana, Northwestern, and Penn State, because the winner of this game would play Northwestern. If you took those 3 teams, Illinois this year was 1-5 against those teams. Penn State against Illinois, Northwestern, Indiana. Penn State was 4-0, and they beat Illinois twice in the regular season. So Penn State plays them well and really plays all of these teams well. And it's another reason why, Penn State could easily beat Illinois. They haven't lost to them. And then go play Northwestern, who they didn't lose to this regular season either. So 25-1 is an easy, win 2 games when you're in the semifinals. And I can either hedge that, I could hedge that if somehow Indiana lost. I don't think Indiana would lose, but I would be absolutely shocked to see someone who is not Penn State, Northwestern, or Indiana come out of the bottom half. I mean, that would mean Illinois or Maryland or like Nebraska. I don't see that at all. So 25
But that's
to
been
1.
that's been the Big Ten this year. So I think
It
it
has,
is possible,
and
but I think it's unlikely.
Yeah, that's the scary part about it. So I like the odds on that though. I mean, I feel like I'm setting myself up well, and Penn State it's not just a shot in the dark. I feel like they're actually, they're like Ken Palm has them at number 50 in the country. I mean, you would not expect that from a team that's 10th in their conference. So 25-1, give me the Nittany Lions.
I love it. I love it. I love it. But yeah, that's pretty much our preview for those 2. I'm already 2-0. I did have Oral Roberts. I did have UNC Asheville. Both those guys are going dancing. I'm a really big fan of Oral Roberts going into this tournament. I have been since probably November. UNC Asheville is going to be a tough out. But right now, we're getting into the meat and potatoes. We're going to get into the Big 12, which top to bottom, easily the best conference of college basketball. They probably got 8 or 9 teams that could be, tournament worthy.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about the Big 12. We'll break down the tournament, see, talk about some long shots, some sleepers. But yeah, see you guys soon.